We're live. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of VCTV. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott, and we are going to be breaking down everything, as I just told you moments ago, on our rundown of blockchain and crypto today with me, that we are going to break down what's happening in the decentralized finance or DeFi, along with traditional finance industries. There's a lot happening. We just went through a rundown. We had the largest, most expensive sale on an NFT, a non-fungible token digital art piece, for almost $70 million, 69.3 million. We've got decentralized finance or DeFi, total value lock, TVL, over $41 billion, close again to that near all-time high of $45 billion. While digital currencies are also reaching their all-time highs or near that as well, we had BlockFi announce a $350 million mega round, a Series D, this morning. We've got more news continuing to shape this industry, including New York giving out a bit license to Fact, the 29th license the state has actually provided to someone as well. We also have more companies putting digital currencies such as Bitcoin and now Ethereum onto their treasuries as well. A lot more to talk about, and we've brought a few friends from the VCTV family who are investors in this space, among others, to break this all down so you don't just have to hear it from me. But if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Make sure you click the subscribe button, share the episode, and also check out the archive on LATOKEN.com to hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family, as we again bring the best and the brightest from around the world to provide their on-the-ground perspective and break down industries and topics like today's, along with other technologies and regions around the world. And if you'd like to be on a show like today, reach out to the team and or myself. We'll find that right spot for you. Speaking of the team, a big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making VCTV possible every single day. Also, comment box open. If you got any questions, you got any comments, shout it out. We'd love to hear from you from around the world. We already see people joining in as well from Paris. I think we've got London on there right now. We've also got, it looks like Bangladesh, and also Sydney. Wow, this is great. So congratulations, welcome everybody. We're gonna go ahead and jump into today's panel, but before we do, let's introduce our guests today. Adrian, welcome back to the show. A little intro, a little background for everybody.
Thank you very much, Kyle, for the introduction. It was fun that I was in another panel with Gary earlier. It was my first panel for VCTV Asia, so it was a first. So very nice to be back in the family. I'm Edwin Niculescu, serial entrepreneur and investor. My genius zones are marketing, sales, and business development, and I love keeping my hands dirty in these areas. Besides my advisory roles and board member slots, I'm actively involved with few projects: Cloudcoin Consortium, Cloudcoin is a post-blockchain digital currency, Faster Capital, which is a Dubai-based accelerator and incubator for startups, SAR Global Ventures, which is a UK-based venture capital firm, and also I'm a mentor in Richard Branson's Virgin Startups program in UK. Happy to be here and to contribute.
Wonderful, happy to have you. And also shout out to Lisa from Scotland, who is joining us right now as well. So hello, everybody. Next up, Gary Fowler, welcome back to the show. A little introduction.
Yeah, great to be here, Kyle. Great to see Adrian. I feel like we're all part of the same family now. So my name's Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I built 17 companies. I love artificial intelligence and quantum computing. I was on the original management team of Click Software. It was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, a little less than 2 years ago. And also co-founder of Viva.ai, one of the top AI HR tech companies, partnered with my co-founder, David Yang, billionaire from Russia. I am the CEO, president, co-founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, the premier AI and quantum venture studios, breeding unicorns, helping them use Silicon Valley as a port to the rest of the world to increase their valuations, to increase their partnerships, and to increase their narrative for the maximum value that they can provide to shareholders and stakeholders.
Wonderful. Gary, again, evolution of the introduction of GSDV. Again, founders, make sure you're taking note of this. Gary is continuing to improve And to iterate on that pitch of what he and GSVD are doing, stay tuned for more. I know there's more coming, so this is exciting. Guys, there's so much happening in this space. I've already run down a few headlines of what's happening. We yesterday had even more. We had Techiment launch New Zealand's first regulated stablecoin, which was backed by the country's dollar. It's called New Zealand's dollar stablecoin, or NZD, as well. And that's built in a combination of the Centra Group and Blockchain Labs. We had DCG, Digital Currency Group, announced to invest up to $250 million in their Grayscale, which is a portfolio company or company they're invested in, Bitcoin Trust. Block Tower Capital announced a $25 million fund focused solely on DeFi. Wyrix, big payments platform, came out and announced its launch with MasterCard, a multi-currency debit card for the UK and Europe that supports over 18 cryptos and digital currencies. This is crazy. This is all just in the last 24 hours and just a few of the major headlines. Gentlemen, I want to come to both of you. What's happening in this space? Why is this now something so important to pay attention to, being decentralized finance? Adrian.
It's how the industry, it's the direction of the industry. Everybody senses that it's a new paradigm which was building for a while, and now it enters mass adoption. It entered last year in mass awareness, basically, and there were so many tokens like Aave, which were started last year, and after that reached some pretty big highs, and such returns can go unnoticed. Besides that, there is a need for new things in banking and finance, and as I was speaking earlier, with the boom of NFTs, which also are not something new, but in the last 2 months everything exploded. We are going on uncharted territories because so many coins are in price brackets which were never seen before. So it's all greenfield right now.
That is very, very true, and a good point as well. And I want to break down BlockFi's big investment because, again, $350 million, company is valued roughly around what I'm seeing is about $3 billion according to reports out there right now, which is a company, again, for those who may not know, helping to bridge that world of traditional to digital finance. I mean, this is a big deal. And Gary, just in general, before we break that down, I mean, what does all of this mean? The world of decentralized finance, DeFi coming into the picture, running alongside traditional finance or fintech from a technology perspective. What are your thoughts on what all this means today here in 2021?
Yeah, I mean, the situation, Kyle, we're embracing this digital transformation. And so with these financial institutions, banks, corporations really need to have these smart contracts, these enforceable agreements. So you don't need a intermediary like a bank or a lawyer. And it's just streamlining. We are streamlining everything. It is part of this transformation that's taken place. And, at the same time, we talked about it earlier today, but you've got some strange things happening. I just read about Crypto Kitties and their NFTs. They have them now a breeding program. They were selling a bred kitty for $100,000. And I mean, there's some, keep your eyes wide open. That's for sure. Because when we're going down through this process, there's going to be some unusual things occur. Make sure you strap on your business logic and understand that. Don't get caught up in the hype too much. Understand what kind of benefit and what it's really worth. So with these NFT, anyhow, it's interesting. There's a lot of changes taking place across the board. We're streamlining business processes. COVID has really accelerated it. as I said, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, McKinsey said 92% of the companies were going through the digital transformation. Well, February of last year, Kyle, March, when you started this VCTV, it's accelerated because we didn't know what to do. Our supply chains were broken. We didn't know. Banks were running the old-fashioned way. Let's shake hands, come into the office, sit down in the chair, and let's talk about it. Well, they've had to upgrade very, very quickly. Why can't we go down through and buy a property? Why do we have to go through a 6-week process? It's not a 6-week process. It ought to be very, very integrated. We ought to be able to do these smart contracts and using DeFi. So let's go down through. Let's use what we have and let's use it quickly. Cross-border transactions. It's all coming together. Cryptocurrencies. Make it easy, fast, and verified. But remember, cybersecurity had better be taken into consideration because nothing good is going to happen if we don't focus on that a lot more than we are today.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're absolutely right on cybersecurity, and it's something that we still don't talk a lot about as well here on in general in the the blockchain landscape. Yeah, it's part of it, but not the full story. Now, however, when we talk about NFTs, that's a different part of the world of DeFi. And the reason I say it's different is that it's still just beginning. I mean, we had a sale today for $69.3 million. Bleeple sold his 5,000 day collection, everyday collection, for record-setting, largest ever sale of an NFT. We have NBA Top Shot doing over $330 million in transactions here in just the beginning of the year. That's not including F1 Delta Time, who we've had their CEO here from Amica Brands. We have many others as well. So Rare, who just raised $50 million in the industry. Much more is happening. The point is that something around NFTs, there's a future where that can actually not only be bought, sold, and transacted, but also could be lended against as well. So as you have these digital assets, which are assets that you can lend and stake against them as well. I mean, we've heard this about F1 Delta Time and some of the opportunities that the company has as well, where you can purchase a digital collectible or a digital good, an NFT, and then you can actually rent it out. You can rent it back to the company and they'll rent it out to other people, and you can all make money off of that, or revenues, I should say.
You know, I got to tell you, it surely sounds like some kind of scheme. You know what I mean? And, you know, we just have to be careful when we're building this. I mean, that's just make sure we don't have the Dutch tulip effect. Right? There's so much herding mentality that we start doing things that are out. And it happens, by the way, every time there's new technologies come in, you know, there's like these things outside of the normal parameters that are done. And then all of a sudden, as the market starts to consolidate and get legitimized, now you see the banks coming in. Now you're seeing governments coming in. They're starting to accept and embrace it. Now it's becoming real. And it takes these kind of fringe things away. But it's every time. And I've seen so many transitions, whether it's, you know, the World Wide Web, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's a dot-com bubble and bust, whether it's a real estate market. You get this insane herding mentality, and people lose sense of what is really happening. So, you know, today it's just keep your eyes wide open. There's incredible opportunity for sure, right?
There is. I mean, there's more activity around the layer one blockchains as well, working to build new DeFi protocols, applications as well. We've got some of those layer ones or side chains as well that are spinning off and building just for DeFi. But when we look at the world of trend, and just a quick side point too, I mean, around NFTs, one of the things that we're also seeing is not just traditional banks moving into being able to custody or store these digital assets, but we have new digital asset specific banks and custody solutions launching to host this. And we just recently had, I believe it was Hex Trust out of Hong Kong. I apologize if I got that wrong. That just launched a custody solution solely for NFTs to protect and help support those that are purchasing these as well. So just wanted to add that. But as we move into this world, we go from traditional finance, we really upgrade what is considered fintech and move into the world of decentralized finance. When we talk about companies like BlockFi and others that we mentioned earlier, even CoinShares, mean, what does this really transform the way that we think about finance, the way we think about payments, the way we think about banking for all of us as consumers? Adrian.
First, I would like to use an example, Coinbase, which will be listed very soon on
NASDAQ.
NASDAQ. I believe the valuation, yes, I believe the valuation is about 100 billion right now. I saw figures between 73 to 100 billion. So this is huge deal. And if we are looking at the technologies of these established exchanges, I believe they are as safe as the usual banks. So I don't feel any risk if I leave some cryptocurrency there. I don't know. This is my feeling, which is different than it was like 2 years ago, when everything was not at this level. Anyway, and if we are looking at the NFTs, of course, I'm a marketing guy, so there is a lot of hype around NFTs. But if we look at how artists can monetize their work, the NFTs is huge deal for the creative people. And some platforms, they don't allow like everybody to put NFTs there. They curate. You need to fill a form. You need to be approved in order to put something there. And the way traditional art is traded is moving into NFTs, and people, and this is part of the new habits. People in early 20s and 30s, they prefer to buy digital goods, even NFTs, before applying for a mortgage to buy their own property or something like that. And we have to deal with this. This is how the things work. Of course, they need to choose the proper NFTs.
Yeah, and I mean, not to make the discussion all about NFTs, because it is just one piece of, again, the much bigger picture. I mean, we've got, several wallets that are being developed that are helping to, again, bridge the gap.
One piece of the game, correct.
Exactly. And it is also very unique to see, but to your point, Adrian, the idea that an artist is able to not just express themselves maybe from a physical piece to a digital piece, but also be able to distribute that to a global audience. The thing I think we typically miss around NFTs, and then we'll move back into DeFi, is that, as an artist, you may only reach your local community. You may only reach those who see your website. Now with NFTs and some of the platforms out there, whether it's, Rarible or Super Rare or Nifty Gateway or Marketplace or many others, OpenSea, you get the chance to have that as a much more global audience. We saw this with a boom around crowdfunding and hardware products, along with crowdfunding on individual services with Patreon and others as well. So it's a great way for individuals, and specifically creators in this case, or artists, to be able to express their art and also get it somewhere else. But Gary, I want to come to you. I mean, security, quantum, AI. These are areas that you all focus on when it comes to the world of decentralized finance. And what I mean by that for today's discussion is this next wave of financial technology, something that Matthew Lemaire, from the Fifth Era, has discussed here on VCTV as a decades-long movement, something we're 40 to 50 years in terms of a transition. What do these three areas, again, security, AI, and quantum, play a role, and how will they impact, positively or negatively, the world of decentralized finance that we're moving into?
Well, I mean, the situation is, look at, if you take last year and the beginning of last year, I saw statistics that said that the amount of cyber attacks were up 238% just within the quarter. So second quarter of last year. So we are in, as we keep advancing, there's all kinds of ways that these cyber attacks are coming in, where it's malware or phishing. I mean, I don't know about you, Kyle, but I don't even trust what I get anymore from, if it says it's from a bank, and even it's my bank, I'm not sure it is. I'm afraid to, I mean, I hadn't been like that before, but it's really interesting. So, and then, anyhow, so what does it mean? It means that we've got to be very, very vigilant because we are taking all our digital assets, all our money, and we're putting it online. We're getting rid of the fiat currency in its sense, and we're doing it online. Well, it opens up the path for somebody. What did the 4-star admiral said? It's just a flip of the switch, It's and that's it. So what we have to do is we have to look at ways to not passively. Traditionally, cybersecurity has been passive, not active. By that I mean I wrote an article a couple of years ago with Orloff. By the way, you should have him on the show, the former chief security officer at Apple and eBay. And he could, and I'll ask him if you want to come on.
Yeah, I would love it. Please. Yeah.
But one of the things that happens is we need to be able to understand with AI where the next attacks most probably is going to happen and plug the hole before it's a problem, right? Quantum computers. So as we go down through over the next few years, you're going to see more and more. It's already started, right? So geopolitical consequences, geopolitical players have tested their quantum computers. And remember, a quantum computer is 100 million times faster than a supercomputer, which means that what would take 10,000 years in a supercomputer could take 200 seconds on a quantum computer. That kind of difference between binary and qubits. So what we need to look at is to be able to quantum proof. So one of the things, and I know our friend Raghu has been on multiple shows, but decentralized cybersecurity systems, because it's one of the ways. The way that we do it today is, 30-year, 40-year-old, 50-year-old technology. We need to look at how to do it differently, how to be able to make it to quantum resistant and then quantum proof technologies. We haven't focused enough. We focus so much on this digital transformation of just getting online. We haven't spent enough time of figuring out how to protect ourselves actively. So I think, as we look down through it, look at all just in general, the attacks. Central banks have been attacked recently. Grid systems in Europe have been attacked. And it's not just by chance. We look at these attacks that are taking place. These are, bad actors, as my admiral friend said, bad characters, right, that are coming out of the woodwork and directly going after those assets. And the challenge is that, anyhow, the problem that we have today is that with NFTs, with cryptocurrencies, with Coinbases, et cetera, we have so much exposure. It's unprecedented. Banks themselves, right? Banks have a huge amount. As we said, I said there's 230% increase just in one quarter last year with banks having cyber attacks. So what happens, right? One of the reasons, it's what do you do? Just keep cash? What do you do? Just keep it locked up? No, you need to have active cybersecurity systems, not passive. You need to be able to look at decentralized cybersecurity systems, which for the most part are not in place today, right? Mm-hmm. These are the next level. As we go down through DeFi, we need to look at decentralized cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, this is a good point, but even more importantly, as we look at DeFi, I mean, we're moving into and already are living in this digital economy. Most of what we do is in a digital presence as it is.
Exactly. But now we're taking, and we're not paying attention when we do what we do, right? Here's the thing, Kyle. I can tell you directly, my own, I had identity theft happen some time ago. The problem is I had an account from AOL, right, and Hotmail. And the situation is, those days were a lot different than they are today. The passwords were different. Things were different. And we didn't have verification, two-step verification, those kind of things. We need to look at what we did before because there's back doors for people to get in. And all of us have, if you started off with AOL or Hotmail many years ago, think about what's going on with those accounts today. What did you do with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, you're bringing up good points here, and Adrian, again, where does the future of DeFi go? We look for, DeFi in terms of payments, banking, peer-to-peer, P2P transfers. I mean, we've got Visa, MasterCard making huge waves into this. We've got, Discover Financial getting into this. We now have Amex starting to make a little bit of noise. We've got digital currencies. We've got central bank digital currencies. We've got country-backed stable coins. We've got all of this starting to happen. And this is just a touch of the surface. We look a few years out. What does DeFi look like in your mind? Adrian.
I believe DeFi will look like something normal, and I believe the first choice when we discuss or we do anything about finance and banking. I was looking for example, in the usual financial world is a science fiction element to be able to get like a major loan without a collateral. In DeFi, and this is a niche, I'm studying it deeply these days, the niche of flash loans, where basically in one transaction, if there are arbitrage opportunities, in one transaction, you can loan an amount and you just need to pay the gas fees for the transaction. So you don't have to pay any don't have to lock in any collateral. You can loan a crypto, you can exchange it for other crypto, you can buy the initial crypto back and repay the loan all in one transaction and make a profit. In the usual financial world, this is something unheard of. So the things start to become a little bit complex in a good way. Mm-hmm. And of course, as Gary mentioned, the security should be our primary concern because we are exposed like crazy. We say out loud that we don't want Facebook and Google and other companies to manage our data, but of course we put on social media anything we are eating when we go to the toilet. Sorry for the comparison, or things like that. And also when we go to an exchange, let's say, if we want to do something, we need to provide KYC elements. So automatically we put our data there. Nobody knows exactly how that data is managed, and if not, will expose us to a lot of risks in the future. Of course, companies like Visa and MasterCard, they want a piece of this. I believe will appear new standards, new companies like Visa and MasterCard or American Express, new names which don't exist now, or maybe there are some small startups today. So new protocols, which probably will run on the same ATMs and POS devices. And also a thing which now happens in the regular financial world, we are talking about cardless systems. So we just need a phone, we go to the ATM, and we don't need a card anymore. Mm-hmm. And this will also integrate with the 100% digital and crypto and DeFi world we know about it. And new breed of services will appear from here. But
you're absolutely right. I mean,
sorry for interrupting. Just to finish the idea, DeFi, I believe, will become our primary choice.
Right. Well, and you're right. I was just going to add. Apologies for interrupting on my side. That Coho actually just announced the securing of a $70 million Series C to scale its digital banking services. And this is again huge news for a fintech startup. We're having more finances. Just also got news coming across my desk that Russia has made immense progress on its central bank digital currency and looks like to be testing a digital ruble in 2022. So I think we're all on the same page that decentralized finance is moving forward, but more importantly, the world of digital identity, DID, and digital security are going to be huge components of all of this in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's a digital bank, whether it's a wallet, whether it's a custody solution, whether it's just us transacting on what will be considered, consumer digital goods, identity and security are the two most important areas. So for those listening, two opportunities to start building in. Gary, anything else to add? If not, we'd love to get your closing thoughts as to where this industry goes, where you see the opportunity for those listening for the first time in DeFi around AI and quantum, and then of course where you can be found online.
Yeah, so the one thing I wanted to say is that these global crypto exchanges have suffered quite a few high-profile attacks, and in fact, the DeFi is 20% of those attacks. And it's not expected to go down this year. So, things like cyber fraud, fake crypto investment platforms. I mean, people don't know where they know Coinbase, but they don't know other platforms. They need to have groups like LATOKEN, right? Mm-hmm. Crypto wallet schemes, malware. So there's crypto jacking. There's a lot of stuff that's out there that we, as we said, needs to be looked at. The thing is, with DeFi, with smart contracts, with tokenization, we're moving forward very, very quickly. My hope is that, as the Germans say, Gestalt, the sum of the parts equal the whole, that we look at this from a whole perspective and don't move so quickly we forget something like cybersecurity. So I'm really excited about it. I mean, the world is fundamentally changed. I got to tell you, Kyle, since we first met last year on VCTV, and we were at the beginning of the pandemic. We went through the toilet paper shortage, water shortage, think about it. It's kind of funny now, but face masks, hand sanitizer. I've never seen. It was unbelievable, the massive shifts in our mentality during that period of time and the helplessness that people had. The beauty of it brought out areas like DeFi and crypto and online banking and how can we streamline all our systems. So I'm very encouraged across the board about it, but I want to keep your eyes wide open, because you'll make sure that it's not, there aren't scams out there and you're not falling prey to some intense fake crypto investment, etc. So it's exciting time. You can reach me, Gary Fowler, on LinkedIn. You can reach me on Twitter. I'm happy to talk to anybody. We are GSD, Get Shit Done Venture Studios. We're looking for incredible AI and quantum companies that are looking to go global.
Thank you very much, Gary, as well. Adrian, closing thoughts, anything else to add? And then where can everyone find you online as well?
My closing thoughts with DeFi, there is a learning curve. No matter if you are involved with it as a producer, you create a platform or you market it, or as an investor or as a user. And so many people still, they don't want to take the effort to pursue the learning curve. And they rely on free YouTube videos telling them on what platform to go, which coin will go 10x, and what to do, without making the minimal effort to do their own due diligence. And I believe, because as Gary said, there are a lot of fraudulent projects, and of course, no ecosystem is perfect. And nobody can guarantee that project X or Z will be there forever. But at least everybody, from an investor and user perspective, should start to learn effectively how to spot scams, how to evaluate legitimate projects, so this market slowly to be cleared. It's an effort, but instead of binging watching a movie, which will make just a streaming company to make an income, the same time can be used to do proper due diligence on the platform where you want to place your funds or when you want to trade or things like that. Of course, it's not easy, but it is, and it will be very, very important. My main point of communication is LinkedIn until something else better will be invented. Adrian Niculescu, I'm on LinkedIn. I answer to all messages, and thank you very much, Kyle and LATOKEN team, for the invitation to contribute here.
Absolutely. Adrian, Gary, thank you both very much. And I hope the audience enjoyed today's episode as we focused around decentralized finance, fintech, banking, and the entire world of finance as we move into this digital economy over the decades to come as well. And again, thank you both. Make sure, audience, that you reach out to both Adrian and Gary on their respected social networks. Make sure you add context when you do, where you met them, where you heard them, and what you would like to continue the conversation about. And thank you so much for tuning in, for all the great comments. And again, hello, everybody around the world for tuning in. If you'd like to be on a show like today, reach out to the team and or myself. Speaking of the team, a big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making VCTV possible every single day. With that, I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. You can find me everywhere online at Kyle Ellicott, including Twitter and LinkedIn, as Adrian mentioned, his network of choice. And we'll be back here after a short little break on VCTV to talk about the future of cities and how technology and innovation is impacting how cities are being built and redefined as well. And while you wait, check out the archive of VCTV on latoken.com. We'll be back here in just a moment. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.